Hello, abundant artists. It's Jennifer Joy, and I've been coaching creatives for more than 20 years now. I'm here very early in the morning. Sun's not even up yet, see, because I've got a lot of errands to run today, and so I wanted to jump on early and get this Facebook Live up to help you move forward today in an area that you might be hesitating on, resisting, just not willing to take that next step, not feeling really willing. Now, what I want to start by saying is that resistance is extremely normal. Now, if you think about it, our brains are designed to it's so early, my brain is not making words yet. No, our brain is designed to really have us live a life of shoulds. If you think back to a more primitive society, when we were not, we were living out in the wild, we had to know which cave we should go in, which food we should eat, and which ones we shouldn't, so that we could survive. It's all a part of our old ancient brain that's trying to keep us safe. Well, of course, we're in a modern world, and now that ancient brain very often gets in the way of us being able to move forward toward our dreams. And it shows up as one way is this feeling of resistance. So again, it's perfectly normal. Our brain is designed to try to look at what we should and shouldn't be doing. And resistance is really around a lot of those shoulds. Think about it right now. Something you are resisting. So let's say I'm resisting, this is one that I've been working on for the past 6 weeks or so, resisting my bookkeeping. This year, 2019, I really want to move forward and be up to date on my bookkeeping. So I'm doing bookkeeping tasks every day. It only takes 5 to 10 minutes if I keep up on it, which is a nice thing. But it's something that I've resisted for a long time. And the reason being, a big part of the reason, yes, it's not something I naturally love. It's not something that lights me up. That's okay. But a lot of the resistance comes from what I think it should look like or shouldn't look like. Oh my gosh, I should have my perfect files, my perfect accounting system. It should look like this. I should be able to do it like I'm a bookkeeper. I used to be a bookkeeper for a couple companies when I was younger. I should be able to make it look exactly like that. So a lot of our resistance comes from a should or shouldn't. I shouldn't be doing something. I shouldn't be working on other things when I've got a pile of bookkeeping there, right? So think about how our brain is designed to look at should and shouldn'ts, and it sets up that resistance automatically. So if you've seen my last video, or I think it was 2 videos ago, about struggle and releasing the energy of struggle, I encourage you to watch that. It's really about what happens in your physiology, that physical feeling that comes up with struggle, and releasing that, opening the window, letting out that energy. So let's say you've done that. Now, how do you move forward? How do you move past the resistance? How do you decide what to do? And here's the real tricky part, I think, is how do you stop resisting, right? I think a lot of us go, oh, there I go, I'm resisting again. And as you've heard the saying, what you resist persists. So for instance, law of attraction, the idea that we are all creators, when we resist and we're putting energy and recognizing that resistance, we need to sort of do an about face and not feed into the resistance. That's another really great reason to be able to get rid of that energy in your body, is to just be able to move past that and be moving at a higher rate. So we've done it with our body. How do we do it with our mind? I'd like to introduce you to a tool that is a fearless living tool. It's from this book, Fearless Living by Rhonda Britton. As I said, I've been I've been coaching creatives for more than 20 years, and I have been a certified fearless living coach for 12 years now, I believe. Is it almost 13? I think it's almost 13. No, it's 12. Whatever. It's been a long time. And one of the primary tools that you can read about in this book, if you're interested, Fearless Living by Rhonda Britton. Rhonda Britton was one of the pioneer life coaches in the country. She's been doing it for nearly 25 years on a big scale. She's had TV shows in both the UK and the United States where she has been the life coach. and really, really got this industry off its feet and moving forward. So one of her tools to move beyond resistance, to move beyond fear, really, is called an intention. Now, I know most of you have probably used that word before. Here's what my intention is. I intend to do this. And maybe you've used it more like a goal, a glorified goal, right? Her way of doing intentions is a little bit different. And so that's what I want to share with you. So we're looking at creating an intention. So let's say it's that stack of bookkeeping. And because that's what it was for me. So and I didn't set an intention for this. I didn't have enough resistance to it. I just knew I need to sit, it was a matter of getting my plan. Although there you go, there's my intention. What type of person is a planner? What type of person is a planner? And that's really the question to ask yourself with an intention. What type of person does this? And we're looking for positive, inspiring words, not a person who isn't a deadbeat. That's not a good intention. Again, that keeps us focused more on the resistance rather than on the positive side of things. So we want to frame it in a way that's positive. I'm going to give you a couple suggestions. Let me see. There it is. I have my list. Here are a couple suggestions of intentions that you could use. It could be authentic, creative. That's a good one. Am I willing to be creative with my bookkeeping? And I don't mean like, funny bookkeeping. I mean, what's a creative way that I can do this bookkeeping so it's not just sitting there drudgery, right? What can I do that's a little more creative to help me move forward? Compassionate. And I want to be very specific about a couple of these in just a minute. Compassionate, accountable, loving, beautiful, courageous, focused, generous, and trusting. So those are just some examples, but it could be anything. It could be anything. It could be, inspiration. How am I going to practice inspiration? Okay. So that's the other thing. Well, there are two key things to intentions. One is that we use the word practice because, again, what we resist persists. So if I say I'm going to be accountable, what happens when I'm not? Then I'm beating myself up and creating more fear, more shoulds, more resistance. Don't want to do that, right? So I am practicing, and willingness. I am willing to practice. I am willing to practice. So let me read this with that. So what will help you move out of whatever you're resisting? What would help you move forward? Are you willing to practice being authentic? Are you willing to practice being creative? Are you willing to practice being compassionate to yourself? So many of us have so much compassion for other people, and we don't extend that compassion to ourselves. So if I hate bookkeeping, it's not something I'm going to beat myself up about. I'm going to be compassionate to myself and understand that it's not something I love, and how can I move forward in a compassionate way? And incidentally, I did. I set up a schedule where I'd be working, I think the max I was working per day to catch up is 20 minutes. And I could fit that in most days, not a big deal. And if I did miss a day because I'm practicing, not a big deal. I can make that up another day. So compassionate. Am I willing to be accountable to myself, not others? I am so good at being accountable to other people. Being accountable to myself and my dreams and my goal and my business can be a little more challenging. Am I willing to be beautiful? This one inspires me a lot. For me, a beautiful life, and that's not outward beauty. It's really about that inward beauty. You guys are artists and writers and musicians. I know you get that. My beautiful life, my beautiful mind state does not include having to catch up on a year's worth of bookkeeping. It just doesn't. Just does not. So for me to help create my beautiful mindset, my beautiful life, it means putting 5 to 10 minutes in every day of bookkeeping. And let me tell you, now that I'm caught up, it's amazing. It's amazing. Am I willing to be courageous? Am I willing to be focused? Practice being focused. Practice being courageous. Practice being focused. Am I willing to practice being generous to myself? excuse me, morning voice, to myself first. Being, again, all of these things are about you first. It's the whole idea of putting on your oxygen mask before helping others. So am I willing to be generous with myself? Am I willing to trust myself? Be trusting. Practice being trusting. So that's what an intention looks like. Look at what you're resisting, what's coming up for you that you're hesitating on, you're doubting yourself, you're just not moving forward. And think about what type of person, and again, you can use this list or pick another word. What type of person is that way? Is it a beautiful person? Is it an inspirational person? Who do you know in your life who does that thing? And what qualities of being do they have? And are you willing to practice that? And from that place of intention, you create your goal. So for instance, for me, the practice of creating a beautiful life and a beautiful mind, I'm going to set goals underneath that. And one of them is keeping up on my bookkeeping. One of them might be redecorating my office, or at least cleaning my office. You do not want to see what's happening over here on the desk right now. So I hope that helps you. Again, a way to help you move out of that energy, open that window, like I mentioned in that video from last week. Let out that energy of struggle and then choose an intention. Let that be your focus. Don't focus on what you're resisting. Focus on the intention. I am willing to practice blank. So I hope this has been of service to you. I hope you find this useful. And remember, nothing to beat yourself up over, because our brains are created to really categorize things into shoulds and shouldn'ts. And that really is what creates a lot of that resistance and doubt and hesitation. So I'm going to look at the sky's actually getting a little lighter. Ooh. I'm going to go ahead and finish getting ready this morning and head out and run a bunch of errands. I hope this has been of service to you. I hope you found it useful. I always love to hear your comments. So go ahead and put those in the comments and I will respond when I get back from all my errands. And incidentally, if you know any other creativity person with a creative business, a creative entrepreneur, anyone else, maybe a coach even who does creativity, please invite them to this group. We're going to want them to fill out the questions so we know that they're really creative. We love to hear from them, and make sure they want to be in the group. We don't like to surprise people with, surprise, you're in a new group. So, but please share the group, and they can move through the process of coming in and joining and getting the support, because that's another key, is getting support. So getting the support not only from me, but from you members who offer such great support. So thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day, and I can't wait to hear your comments. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.